Men, what's the biggest green flag you've seen on a woman? She noticed I had disappeared from the group chat and hadn't answered any direct messages in days. She looked through my messages in the chat, found the ones where I gave little hints as to where I was, and was able to determine that we lived close to each other and where I worked. She went to my work to see if I was okay and found out I was in the hospital. She went to the hospital to visit me and found out I was on a side watch. She came right up to my bed and called me the dumbest idiot she had ever met and then didn't leave my side. Of course, she's my wife now. I am doing a lot better than I was. Life hadn't been kind to me up until that point, and I just didn't know how to properly deal with my emotions and trauma. She helped me every step of the way. For me, it was when I had to do a quick grocery run with my not yet girlfriend. Just this slender, blue-eyed girl I was on maybe a second date with. I thought it would be fun. When she saw what I was buying, she stopped me and showed me better deals on a different aisle for similar items. And then showed me another way to make my meals using frozen foods for like half the cost. She was saving me so much money. If she was this good, I couldn't imagine how great she would be with even bigger items. Plus, she smiles a lot and likes to be kind to others and make them smile. And she does these little lock eyes and does something silly like put popcorn in her mouth. Why are you locking eyes with me to do that? I locked that down immediately. We have been married for 17 years and counting. She is as cute as ever. My wife, girlfriend at the time, invited me to be her +1 to the birthday party of a girl with severe learning difficulties that she used to be a carer for. The love, care, respect, and dignity she gave the girl was the biggest green flag I have ever seen. I am going to boomerang that green flag back at you. You were invited to be the +1 to a birthday party of someone you didn't know with severe learning difficulties, and the girl that invited you married you. You clearly showed similar respect or she wouldn't have kept you.
One time, about 2 weeks into the relationship, my daughter from my previous marriage had to come to my flat at really short notice. My girlfriend at the time was adamant she was not going to meet my kids until we knew it was 100% a proper relationship. So she hid in my bedroom. Now, my daughter used to have complete meltdowns and really naughty behavior. She couldn't regulate herself, and I, being a young dad, didn't understand and mistook it as just a naughty child. During this almighty meltdown, my girlfriend at the time couldn't take it anymore, snuck out of the house, and that was that. She returned 30 minutes later with crayons, coloring books, and loads of arts and crafts materials. She got down to my daughter's level, introduced herself as a friend from work, and laid on the floor for 3 hours and colored with her. She told me after my daughter was picked up, she suspected she has some kind of attention deficit / hyperactivity disorder or autism. I knew instantly I was going to marry this woman. We have been together 10 years, married for 4, and she was there every step of the way to get a diagnosis. My first dates were always at a museum because I am an academic. If you find the Philadelphia Museum of Art boring, you will find me boring eventually. But this one woman who had never been there was like, "Oh my God," and then asked, "This isn't the real original, it's a replica, right?" And you might be thinking she is talking about the Van Gogh's sunflowers or whatever. No, she was talking about a lawn chair, like this random lawn chair. This was Frederick Arnold's lawn chair he submitted to the patent office in 1956, and every person in America has seen one of these things. You buy them for like $15 at Walmart and leave them out in your backyard until they get moldy after a storm. But no, the original handcrafted one still exists, and it is now 70 years old but still looks good. There are millions of replicas of this thing, possibly over 1 billion, and here in the Philadelphia Museum of Art is the first one. The fact my date with that woman added that moment of real appreciation and wonder to the universe for me was the greatest green flag of a relationship. The intellectual curiosity and shared enthusiasm were everything.
We had only been dating for 3 months, so there was still some awkwardness here and there, mostly just getting to know each other. I was working an outrageous amount, and I got a phone call that one of my very good friends had just died in a car accident. I don't really remember walking there, but instead of my apartment, I ended up at hers. She opened the door to her new boyfriend half ugly sobbing. Instead of being weirded out, she listened and cried with me for a couple of hours. I have almost no recollection of what I said. The friend who died was the one who had encouraged me for like 6 months to ask my now wife out. My friend never knew the impact she had. My wife and I have been married for almost 17 years now. When I first started dating my partner, maybe 3 months in, we had a weird misunderstanding after a mixture of misreading a tone and got into a little tiff. She immediately sensed things were getting out of hand. It had not quite escalated to an argument yet, took a deep breath and said, "I don't care about being right. I care about things being good with us. Let's get back on the same page." And we talked it out, and it was great. I knew at that point that she was the one. She is hands down the best communicator I have ever been with. And 7 years later, we are still madly in love. She is so good at making sure that I know that any problem in our relationship is not me versus her, but us versus the problem. That is not to say she lets me avoid accountability or anything, but she always has my back. We are best friends and a team. I am stupidly lucky. We had been dating for about a month. I was 20 at the time and broke as could be. One time she mentioned that she loved Rainforest Cafe, and so I saved up some money and took her up into the city. I had enough for what I thought the bill was going to be and not much else. So when I saw that it was $10 to park, I was heartbroken. I decided to park across the street at the McDonald's. She told me that she thought it was a bad idea, but smiled when I said it was fine. Well, my car got towed, obviously. We found out where the impound lot was and walked 3 miles in the winter through a bad neighborhood to get there, and used the emergency credit card she had to bail me out. She never threw being right in my face and was never scared or disappointed. On the way there was a moment where I was sure that this was going to end our relationship. I stopped on this bridge overlooking some train tracks. I remember her finding my hand and gripping it. At that moment, I knew it was forever. I took her back to that bridge a few years later to propose, and here we are, 25 years and 2 kids later. She is a fortress of love.
She was 22 and I was 21. It was January 2009. My girlfriend had been out of college for 6 months and working the phones at an investment company. Her first day on the front lines was the day the market crashed in September 2008. But this was considered a good job for a top-rated company. I was a year behind her in school. I had worked for a major newspaper for 4 years and majored in journalism. There was no future in it. I heard about a seminar on how to teach English abroad. It could pay your student loans, you can travel the world. I asked her to go with me to the seminar for support, and she agreed. I sweated out the entire thing, worried that I wanted to take this plunge and she had a good job. As the seminar wore on, I got more excited about it, and also thought it would be impossible to reconcile with this girl I loved. We were silent, walking to the parking lot after the seminar. I was so scared. I wanted to do this, but I knew she had a good family and a good job. She broke the ice and said, "So, where should we move?" We have been together 20 years next spring. A year in Istanbul, a year in Korea, and careers that take us all over the globe.